So as part of this topic, we will see how to read data from file. So the problem statement says there is a file. The file name is 03 underscore courses.csv. It is in the current folder. As we are using Jupyter environment, on the left side, you can actually see the file here, 03 underscore courses.csv. You can also open with the editor and you should be able to see how the data is. The data have the header. And if you go to the further details, the problem statement also say it is a text file where lines are delimited by new line character. Each line contains data for multiple attributes related to courses table. Each attribute value in each line is separated by tab character, which means each line. So this is one line, this is another line, this is third line. So even though you are not seeing any character here, internally to represent the data, the files will maintain certain special characters. New line character is the one. New line character, if you want to understand how it will look like, it will be like this. As of now, it is not visible. Instead of that new line character, you are actually seeing the record from the next line. Another popular line delimiter is carriage return. It is /R. /N is new line character. In Windows, it is also popular to use /R, and it is called as carriage return. Now, it also says each line contains data for multiple attributes related to courses table. If you look at this line, each line contains data for multiple attributes. This is related to course ID. This is related to, sorry, there's no course ID in this, my bad. Actual names are course name. This is actually course name. This is actually course author. So I need to fix the problem statement in the original, not problem statement, but the data in the original problem. So course name, course author, then we have course status, which is nothing but published, course published date, which is nothing but this one. If you look at the data, each line contains values for 4 attributes. Okay, so they're all consistent. Typically, delimited files or comma separated files will look like this. Even though CSV is popular with comma separation, whatever delimiter have, still we call it as CSV only in many cases, because that is the most commonly used one. But in the end, data might be tab delimited. It can be ASCII null character delimited. It can be anything. It can be pipe, it can be colon, it can be semicolon. Okay, so data might be delimited with any character. So in this case, the data in each record is actually delimited or separated by tab character. Okay, so this is very, very important. To process individual records, you have to use the tab as the character. Now you need to develop a function which will return list of tuples with all the values from the file. Don't worry about this this last statement, whether you understood or not. You can come back to this at a later point in time. Now I have given a hint. Using Pandas will facilitate you to come up with the solution faster. Okay, so I'm already recommending you to use Pandas so that you can actually come up with the solution faster. Now, one thing you need to keep in mind is first you need to import Pandas as PD or whatever alias you want to give. Don't think that you have to revise Pandas and all those things. You don't need to revise Pandas if you really understand how to develop the code using help or Google. First, you should focus on help. Okay. So whenever you are trying to get data from a file, so you have a file, the data in the file will be persisted even if you shut down the computer. When you bring up the computer, still the data will be in the file. And if you want to read, you have to open with some application. Okay. Or if you want to watch what the file contains, you have to open with some application. It can be your text editor. It can be like TextPad or Ultra Edit or Notepad or Notepad++ or Visual Studio Code. Whatever editor you want to use, you can use that editor. And if you open the file with that editor, the reason why you are able to see the data in that editor is because the data is loaded into the memory. Okay. The process of loading the data from a file into the memory is called as reading. Okay. In this case, first we have to read the data from the file. Then we can think about what to do with it. Okay. Now, how to read the file in Pandas, especially the CSV. Now, Siri, you tell me how you will be reading the data in this file using Pandas as the module or library.
I think we can use like pd read CSV
Yeah, so
command.
if you are not sure, just say pd dot. Okay, for most of the common use cases or common files, there will be functions already in standard libraries like Pandas. Pandas is a popular data processing library. It will have APIs to read the data or functions to read the data. Okay, so all you need to do is you can hit tab, pd dot hit tab. It will list all the functions in PD. For some reason, Pandas is not working as expected. You can actually say read and then hit tab. I am thinking it might be because there are too many functions, but still it is not working. Now, what you can do, if the tab is not working, you can say help PD and hit enter. Okay, now you will get all the details about this package. Pandas is a package and there are so many things in this. You can scroll down and see if it actually provide any information about reading the data. Okay, now you see, because it is a very big library, it is not giving all the functions in one shot. Okay, that's why when I say pd dot and hit a tab, it is not actually auto suggesting also. But when it comes to reading the files, typically it is IO. It is called as IO. Probably in Pandas, the IO might be having it. If you want to just use help, if you don't want to go to Google, then you can actually explore these additional apparent or obvious information and take it further. Or you can Google for this. Already you know it's called as reading. You can just Google around saying how to read a file with tab delimiter using Pandas, and you will actually get the code itself directly. Okay, so let's see if IO have anything here. So I'm just saying pd.io and help, and let's see if there are any functions here. There is one common, probably it might have it. Let me see. Okay, now there are quite a few functions in this. Even this one doesn't have a read. So one way to actually figure out is you can directly say help on pd.read underscore CSV just to understand where it is. It is actually not telling where this function is, and at the same time, when we hit pd.tab, we are not getting list of functions because PD is not the library which have functions directly. So there is a concept of initializing certain modules, and as part of the initialization process, it will expose the functions at a high level, but somewhere it is hidden internally. Using PD, it is a bit tough to get to the list of functions. In some cases, it will come. Probably I might have to add some plugin. Okay, so in this case, if you are not getting list of functions, when you say pd.read and hit a tab, then you can Google around how to read files in Pandas and you can take it further. For now, we know read underscore CSV is the one. Now tell me how I can actually read the data in this tab delimited, the file which contain tab delimited records. So using read underscore CSV, how I should be reading the data. What should be the 1 minute? Let Siri respond. I will ask you also, Varun. Yeah, what should be the arguments that are supposed to be passed here, Siri?
Well, the arguments like you have to give the delimiter, and if in case any header or before the, get
no, you
controls,
can you can go through the arguments here and you can tell me what all arguments are supposed to be passed.
Delimiter.
Okay.
Header, because as you said, we already have the header, right? A course is.
So what is the default for header here?
Infer.
What is the meaning of infer? You have to read here. You should have asked me to scroll down if you don't know the meaning of infer, and you okay. Can actually go to the information here. So what is the meaning of infer?
Like column names.
No, read it. Take some time, read it, and let me know what is the meaning of header equal to infer.
Okay.
And then tell me whether we have to use header or not. You can also Google around for the dictionary meaning of infer. So read this part.
Yeah, Zaga.
What it says.
Like if no names are passed, then it shows like header equals to 0, and if the column names are already given, it says header equals to none. Maybe it is that. Okay, if there are no.
No. You did not read it properly. Can you read it loud? Just whatever I have
Yeah, if
highlighted.
no names are passed, the behavior is identical to header equals to 0, and the column names are inferred from the first line of the file.
So what does that mean?
Okay, if it means like if there is no names, if we give the header equals to 0, then the column, the first line of the given data will be treated as the header.
No, if no names are passed,
The column,
the behavior is identical to header equal to
yeah,
0. Okay, and column names are inferred from the first line of the file. What is the meaning of header equal to 0?
it means like
So
the first line, like 0, 1, 2, 3, like
correct,
yeah.
correct. Yeah. So it means first line. So take the first line by default if you don't pass the argument. Okay. So this is the meaning of infer. Okay, header equal to infer means it is similar to where header equal to 0. Okay, if header is part of second line or third line for whatever reason, sometimes your first line might have some documentation, first few lines, and then the header might be part of fifth line, and then you might have the rest of the data. Okay. So if you go to the arguments, there will be one argument to skip certain number of rows. It will skip those first few rows. And then you can say header equal to 5 because the first 4 lines are documented, related to documentation. Fifth line is the header. And then you have the data. Then you can say header equal to 5. It will consider the fifth line as the header row. And then it will consider the rest of the records as the actual rows in the data frame when the data frame is created. So to answer the question I have asked, header need not be passed here because the first line have the column names. Okay, so the reason why I'm emphasizing is you have to read the documentation if you are not clear about the problem statement. Even when you go through it, when I tell you about read _ CSV, you should not just go through directly and think that it is you are able to understand. You have to go through the additional arguments. You need to understand the characteristics of your different files, and you have to explore further. That's when the concepts will be understood. Okay, so in this case, header, separator are the most commonly used ones. So for this, so what are the arguments that are supposed to be passed? Only the file path and the separator. Rest of the stuff are not required.
Okay.
Okay. Now let's do that pd.read _ CSV. The path is nothing but 03 _ courses.csv. Sep equal to tab character. Now you can see the data. You can see the column names and you can see the data, right? So this is how you are able to read the data. So you reach almost 50% of the solution. Okay, whether you understand this or not, it's a different story. At least you made some progress. Okay. Now, what it is saying, you need to develop a function which will return list of tuples with all the values from the file. Okay. So now, Varun, when I say list of tuples with all the values from the file, what do you understand with this?
That all the records would be
No.
Yeah.
Don't explain. Give me an example, and you tell me. I will try to build one tuple, and we will take it further. So when I say list of tuples with all the values from the file, you first let's understand what the tuple is. Give me an example of tuple here, with and then we'll take it further.
In this, the tuple can be this programming using Python, Bob Dylan, published, and this date.
Can you repeat that once again? Yeah.
In this tuple will be the one line in this record. That is
Okay.
programming using Python, Bob Dylan, published, and date.
Okay.
There.
Okay.
The sort
Okay.
entry would be in the tuple. We'll store it
Yeah.
in a tuple.
And how it will be enclosed? What type of brackets you have to use to enclose all
We
these
will
things?
use, we will use circular brackets,
Yeah.
rounded brackets, round brackets.
And now what is the meaning of list of tuples?
It means that in a list we have many tuples inside it. Many means inside a list we have inculcated many tuples. For example,
Okay.
here 12 tuples will be there. 12 to 11
Correct.
tuples will be there inside a
Correct.
list.
So Siri, is it clear to you?
Yes, Durga.
Okay. Now we have to convert this data frame into tuples. So let me give the name as courses equal to pd.read_CSV. Okay. Now the data frame is created, right? Now let's say now let me ask you this question. How so when it comes to courses, if you check the type of it, it is of type data frame, but the requirement is the function should return list of tuples. Now tell me how to convert this data frame to list of tuples. What will be your approach? Varun, I will let you answer that question.
Okay, Durga. So for this, we can use the list function to convert it into a list.
Okay.
Or we can declare an empty list also. That's
okay. Empty list. Then what we are supposed to do?
and then we have to convert it into a tuple. This all the records we have to convert it to a tuple.
So this is why you are not
and
able
then we
to
have
find.
to append in a list.
No. Please go on to mute. Please, everyone, please go on to mute. So this is why you are not able to find the solution in timely manner. Okay. So in this case, a pandas is nothing but a collection with attribute names. What is the difference between list of tuples and pandas data frame? A pandas is also a collection, but for each and every attribute value, you have attribute name also associated with it, right? So if you look at the courses, okay, you have these attributes and you have values. So we are defining the structure for list of tuples. Internally, it is just list of tuples or list of lists. But for each and every value in that nested list or nested tuple, which are part of the main list, we just have the names also. So that's the difference between a data frame and a typical list of tuples or list of lists. So this can be represented using list of lists or list of tuples also. But pandas will give you that additional flexibility of defining names to the attributes. Okay. Or we can even use it as list of dicts also. Okay. Pandas you can think of as a specialized list of dicts. All you need to understand is pandas is also a collection. As you have functions to convert a list to set or to dict, or a set to dict or list, or a dict to set or list or tuple, you have several functions, right, to convert the collections from one type to another. Similarly, as pandas is also a collection, there will be functions. You have to explore those functions. Okay. So how to explore here? You can say courses dot and hit tab. Most likely it should highlight the functions. For some reason it is not. So in this case, what you can do, you can say help. I have to troubleshoot why it is not giving us the functions that are available. Then I will be able to get this a bit faster. Now, if you see here, there are quite a few functions that are available on top of the pandas data frame. Okay. So if you are not sure about this documentation because it is too much, you can actually explore how to convert a pandas data frame into list of tuples the way I have asked the question in Google, and you will get the solution. Okay. So in this case, if you actually search for values, there is a function called as values. Okay. Okay, it is there are 538 of them. I don't think we should go with all. Let me clear output here. Okay, now we are talking about yeah, we have already read it. And now if I say courses dot values, let's hit the question mark. You can see that it will give us where is the values? Yeah, so it is not a function actually, it is just an attribute. So you need to differentiate between a function and an attribute on an object. So D types, values, etc. are just attributes. It will give us some information about that object. So in this case, courses is the object, values is the attribute, it's not a function. So if I run this, we'll get the values. You see here, we got the values, and these values are nothing but, list of records in an array. So you see here, these are enclosed in array, and each element is of type list again. It's not list of tuples, it's actually written list of lists. Now to convert to list of tuples, we can't use values. Okay, so first you need to understand that every object will have attributes and functions. So values is one attribute, shape probably might be another attribute. You can see it is actually giving number of records and the number of columns. Data types is another attribute. So D types is another attribute. You can see we have name, author, status, and published date, which are of type object. So these are all attributes within courses. Okay, when the data frame is created, these will have some values in it. If it is list of lists, it is pretty straightforward. You just have to say values. It returns an array with all the values. You can just run like this. Okay, it is not working. It is actually converting list of arrays. You can apply map function and you should be able to get the way you want. And one more thing you need to understand is this also have the D type in it. So you need to develop some complex logic to get list of lists from this array special object, which is part of the data frame called as courses. Now on top of these, there are also functions. One such function is, I guess, to_dict. Let's see if it is there. Okay. As I have mentioned to you earlier, as Pandas is also a collection, there are functions already available on top of Pandas data frame, which will convert the data frame into certain type. To_dict will actually convert it into dictionary. You can actually say like this, and you see there are attributes and values, but these are not in the form of the records we have in the file, right? They are in a different form. Why? For that, we have to go through the help again. What all different options we have. Now, if you look at the arguments or parameters related to this to_dict function, we have orient, we have into, we have few other things. Now, if you look at the orient, either we can have it as dict, list, series, split, records, and index. Okay. So in this case, you need to interpret these things, and records is the one which you should be using to convert the data in the data frame into a dictionary, where each dictionary represents one record. So so in this case, records is the answer. So you just need to explore these functions as per your requirement. As of now, I don't know how the behavior will be with respect to dict, list, series, split, index. If I have to, I will explore and I will figure it out. Once I started looking at the help, I realized that records will be the case, and I just want to try with that. Okay, in this case, I can say orient equal to records. Now, how to get whether we have this to_dict function or not? If you practice on Pandas, you will eventually pick up that, okay, there will be some functions with the to, starting with to, which will convert the Pandas into other type of collections. To_dict is one. If I actually show you courses dot to, I think list is also there. Okay, let me see to_list. Okay, it's not there. For list, it is not there, but dict is there. Unfortunately, it is not auto-suggesting. Otherwise, I should have highlighted all the functions that are available. Anyway, so now using to_dict and with orient equal to records, now you see it is converted to list of dicts. Okay. Now you got the data in the form of list of dicts, but I want the list of tuples, right? So in this case, what I can do, either I can actually get the values from each and every dict. Okay. So for example, in this case, if I pick one dict and let's say I say D equal to, now D is of type dict. If I want to get the values, there is a function called as values on top of dict. I hope you guys remember. Now you see it is actually returning a list. Now I can actually convert this to tuple. Okay. Now you see I got the individual record in the form of a tuple. Now once we get the list of dicts like this, it is the requirement that we have to convert each record into the tuple. Now Varun, how should we take it further? So I got the solution up to where data is read into a data frame and is also converted to dictionary. Now we have to make sure that this is converted to not dictionary, the from Pandas data frame. I have converted to list of dicts. Now I want to convert to list of tuples. So the source is list of dicts, the target is list of tuples. Now what should be the approach?
We have to do for all that is right, and
correct.
Individually it will not be possible for each record. So okay, can you just show me two dict function once? Can you please run the help and
okay, help on courses. Okay, now it is not dictionary anymore. Okay, courses on courses 2_dict. Okay. So forget about it. Okay. I don't want to use anything on top of 2_dict. Okay. Now I got the list of dictionaries. Okay. Forget about the original problem statement. Now, if you look at the courses, okay, I got list of dictionaries. Now I want to convert into list of tuples. What will be your approach? So far I have read the data from file into the data frame. I have converted the data frame into list of dictionaries. Now I want to convert the list of dictionaries into list of tuples.
There might be some function to convert it into tuples here. Yes.
Siri, can you respond to that? You can go on to mute, Varun. Hello, Siri. Are you there?
Yes, sir. I'm thinking.
Okay, Rohit, can you respond to that question? You can think, Siri. Rohit. So I have list of dicts. Now I want to convert this list of dictionaries to list of tuples. So what will be your approach?
So, sir, as we have like list of dicts, so can we to use two list function to convert this into list?
I don't know whether there is a toList function on this. Okay, let me say two. No, there is no toList function on list of dicts. The courses itself is a list. There will not be toList function on top of list. So if you look at the type of courses, it is of type list.
Yeah, it's list.
Yeah. So your answer is not correct. So Siri, did you get it? Did you get any solution for this?
I just tried, but I think can we use any append function in this? I mean,
what is the purpose of the append?
yeah, we'll be adding.
So where are we adding? We are not adding. We have to convert list of dicts into list of tuples.
Then, like, if as before, if we use a single dict, I mean, single dict, and we're connecting with the tuples, then can we give a value and we can? Okay.
So you are saying that something like this, I guess. So let's say course list equal to empty, and then you want to iterate through this list of dicts, and you want to build this course list with a list of tuples. Is that right?
Yes.
Is that okay? So yeah, you can tell what I should do now. So I have created empty list. Then what I should do? We have 4 minutes. We have to close this because I have to prepare for the next meeting. So now tell me what I should do. I have initialized the empty list. I understood what approach you are trying to come up with.
We have to work on it because I thought about it, but I'm not getting the right thing, how to use it.
Okay. So Varun, what about you? Can you come up with solution using this approach?
Can we use list comprehension?
What is that?
List comprehension means I was
What is list
checking,
comprehension?
means to write an entire, to access a list by writing it in a
No.
one-line solution, but actually okay. For the values, just wait a second.
Yeah. So you
Sir,
guys are not. Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, I'm writing one code in the chat.
No, wait. Don't think too much here. Okay. You guys are not able to implement the solution for a given problem. Okay. Please, everyone, go on to mute. There is some background noise coming through. Okay. Now please, everyone, go on to mute. And if I go to mastering Python, okay. So now tell me, what is the most straightforward way to actually come up with the solution? One is definitely loops. As Siri have got an idea, we can have loops like this for course in courses. Okay. Now if I print the course, I should be able to print each dict. Now I can actually say tuple of course dot values. It will actually convert into it will print each record as a tuple. Now I can actually say course underscore list dot append. Now course underscore list will have the list of tuples. This is one way of doing it. Okay. What Varun is saying is, instead of writing in something like this, we can use list comprehension. I don't know whether it is right, but as he said one-liner, he is thinking about coming up with solution like this. So you can actually say tuple of course dot values. Okay. And you can place it here. Then for course in courses. I think this is what he was mentioning. I don't know whether it is right. Now, if you look at it, even this one will give the solution we are looking for. For course in courses, there is a bracket missing here. Now you see, we got the list of tuples. So even this approach worked. Beyond these two, there are other options also. What is the other options you guys can think of? So you can actually look at the chapter names on collections, and you should be able to give it another approach as well. Siri, what is the other approach where we can manipulate this list of dicts into list of tuples? So you guys have developed the MapReduce functions. You have done the exercises on MapReduce functions. And if you look at all the examples, it is primarily to apply the transformations on individual records from one to another. Okay. In this case also, we are trying to apply transformation on each dict to convert to tuple. So you have to use map function to achieve that. Okay. So if you use map function, you should be able to come up with the solution for this problem, where you have to convert list of dicts to list of tuples. Is it clear? Yeah. So now you can also say map of, okay, and map takes lambda function as first argument. It should have the logic that it is supposed to be applied on each record. In this case, if record is represented as rec or course, I just have to say course because it is of type dict. Each course is of type dict. I can say course dot values. It will return list type object, a special list type object. However, we want to convert into tuple, and hence I am calling the tuple function here. And then I have to pass the courses as the second argument. But in the end, map will actually return a special data type. We want to represent as a list. For that reason, we have to call list function like this. And now course list will have the data we are looking for. So this is how you have to come up with the solution. So in this case, all you need to do is you can copy this in this. Okay. You can say courses underscore df, and then courses equal to courses underscore df, and then sorry, you don't need to do all these things anymore. Okay, now you run this. You can check the type of courses, len of courses. First course, it is of type tuple. Type of course 0 is of type tuple. So this is as simple as this. Okay, so first of all, Varun does not understand the problem statement. He does not understand what delimiter is. He just used CSV. Even with CSV, we should be able to come up with the solution. All you need to do is, once you understand the problem statement, okay, if you look at the functions that are available in CSV and start getting the help, then you can actually start using the appropriate functions within CSV. So help on CSV. So what all functions we have? So we have delimiter. So in this case, even with the CSV, okay, 03 courses.csv, and then what is the argument for delimiter? It is delimiter. So we just have to say delimiter equal to tab. Okay, so what is the function I'm supposed to use here within CSV, Varun, to get the data in the CSV file into some collection? What function should I use? Is it csv.csv?
Oh, I think
so. I don't know, man. You have used as part of your code. You should have told this.
actually I just tried it, but yeah, it didn't get.
No, but still, right? You have used that function. You didn't pass the delimiter, and it worked. It have read the data without using the delimiter. It have created the list. So my question was, which function should I use? You should have told it. Even that one you just copy pasted, I guess. That's why there is a gap. Okay. So please go on to mute. Please go on to mute. Let me see. Is it reader? Is this the one you have used?
Yeah, reader, I guess. Yeah.
So CSV dot reader. It takes iterable as the input. I don't know whether it is correct. I don't think it. Can you share your screen real quick? I don't think it's reader. So that's the problem. You guys are just mugging up. You are not actually trying to understand. You have to put this effort and the pace at which you guys are going without diving deep is really low. Okay. At least if you are able to gain this level of knowledge as you go, you are supposed to ask me the questions also, and no one is asking the questions. Okay. You are just saying that it is completed. With that, I will not be able to know whether you are completed or not.
Okay.
So in this, where is the code where you have read the CSV file?
Actually, the code I just wanted to try another one, but yeah, I have to search that in the Google. Just give me a minute.
No, I don't have that much time, man.
Okay.
This is the problem. Ideally, you should have remembered if you try to understand what you are trying to do with CSV, you are just googling around and trying to come up with the solution. There is no quick and dirty answer. You have to really understand what is going on here. Okay, now let me see how to use CSV. Python CSV library. So you have to pass file type. You should have given that answer. Okay, first you have to create file type or text IO reader. Then you have to pass that to csv.reader. Okay, you are not even saying that you have to open the file first when I ask the question. You should have told this. Okay, that being said, now if I go here, so I have to say CSV open. Okay, and then sorry, let me see what it is saying as CSV file. Okay, now I got it. So it has to be csv.reader. Okay, now you got it. Now let's see, for row in, print row. Now you got the data. Now you have to say delimiters equal to tab. Okay, so even when you see the tab, you did not check it properly. If you checked it properly, the solution would have been much straightforward. It is returning the list. Now all you need to do is you just have to say tuple of row. Okay, now you got the data we are looking for. Now using map function, I can say list of map of, okay, second argument is this one. Okay, and the first argument is nothing but lambda course. Okay, and then tuple of course. Now you got the answer. So this is how you should have come up with the solution with csv.reader. If you are not comfortable with map, all you need to do is you just take this. Okay, you can actually say course list equal to tuple of row for row in, and then it has to be enclosed in square brackets, and you should be able to see the data. So this is how you can actually come up with the solution. Okay, so whether it is CSV or Pandas, it doesn't matter as long as you understand the underlying concepts. Without understanding underlying concepts, if you just try with the trial and error method, you will not go anywhere. Okay, so what I would suggest is you go through each and every problem. Okay, and spend only half an hour time. Don't spend more than that, and see where you stand, and then we will review each and every problem statement. Okay, then we have to join the other meeting. I am concluding this. Thank you. Bye.